beautiful soul. Welcome to the Quantum Business Queen podcast. This podcast is a vortex for activating wealth, riches, and boss bitches. It is here that I teach multi-dimensional business. Our content will fall under 3 different categories: 5D quantum creation, 4D frequency alchemy, and the most potent 3D strategy. Every aspect of business that contributes to the creation of success is covered here. Plus, I will be personally interviewing the most amazing boss bitches that are at the forefront of the game, paving the way for money, magic, and magnetism in business. Let's get ready to activate all of that within you. Hello, beautiful soul. Welcome to this episode of the Quantum Business Queen podcast. Today, I want to speak about a really powerful conversation we actually had in the Business Academy this morning around what it's going to really take for you to step up as a leader. So whether you have your own container, whether you are launching something, there are some really important insights that you need to be aware of when it comes to being a powerful mentor, coach, and leader. Because, when you understand these concepts and when you understand truly what it takes to allow people to step into their greatness, you'll realize a lot of things might need to shift in terms of how you support people, how you lead people, and how you allow them to evolve into their highest timeline of leadership themselves. So firstly, I want to talk to you about what you would expect from me if you were to co-create with me in the Business Academy. And the reason why I want to tell you this is because, take a leaf out of my book, because I've been through it all. I've been through times where I've resented my business because I didn't know how to stand strong in my embodied leadership. And so when you come into the Business Academy, expect me to have boundaries. And I'm very clear on what my boundaries are. Expect me to evolve and shift and change. Expect me to say something that might have contradicted something else I said a year ago. Expect me to shift and change and continuously up level, which can sometimes make people feel uncomfortable. Expect me to have standards, which means I expect you to rise to meet me there. And of course, again, sometimes this makes people feel uncomfortable. I am okay with that, however, because I know that discomfort requires people to grow. And if you're going to be in my containers, then also expect growth. And sometimes growth isn't comfortable, but I'm willing to hold the space for people to be uncomfortable so they can step into what it takes to get really powerful results in their business. So this sometimes means that you're not going to make all your clients happy, that, you're going to be talking about concepts or topics or strategies or whatever. And when they wanted to talk about woo and 5D and quantum creation, because that's all fluffy and nice and fun and pretty, sometimes you're going to be breaking down data and reverse engineering strategic strategies when they're going to want to be talking about manifestation, or they're going to want to hear about what 5D really means. You have to be okay with the type of leader that you are and delivering the content that is going to get results, and also holding the space that will carve out powerful leaders in your industry. So that means you have to be unshakable in who you show up as. When people are going to want you to show up as someone else, people are going to want you to be someone else, and those people are potentially the very people who have paid you money and who are in your own containers. And that is really hard, because when somebody pays you money, oftentimes you automatically feel obligation to them. Now, of course, you're going to deliver. Now, the obligation you have is to deliver, but sometimes you will have to deliver in the way that they don't want you to deliver. You're going to have to step outside of who they desire you to be in order to be the person that they actually require you to be. Now, hopefully that makes sense. Sometimes, occasionally, clients are going to desire you to be something for them when that's not actually what they require. And it's your responsibility as a leader to be able to discern what that is for people based on where they're at. Sometimes they require you to hold your own boundaries because you're able to mirror that type of leadership back to them. And hopefully they'll not only have them boundaries, but then create them for themselves. And then the spill on effect takes over. Sometimes maybe they require you to up your own standards so they can meet you there. Sometimes they will require you to mirror uncomfortable things back to them, but that's what it will take in order for them to grow. And as a leader, those things are not easy sometimes, but you are in this game because you want to change humanity. You want to up level not only yourself, but every single person that comes into your sphere. And I hate to break it to you, but that's not easy sometimes. And powerful leaders will lean into that discomfort. They'll lean into that dis-ease, and they will do whatever it takes for growth, not only for themselves as a leader, but for their clients. I was saying to the guys in the Business Academy today that I'm continuously growing. I'm continuously evolving. I am continuously up-leveling. I am like in my own tunnel vision of evolution and growth, whether it be in my business, whether it be mentally, whether it be spiritually, whether it be in my relationships. And any person who chooses to will come with me. I will pull every single person up with me as long as they choose it, and they have to choose it. But I create a space to allow people to choose. So this is what I say. If you are wanting a mentor that's going to hold your hand, if you want a mentor that's going to constantly be checking in on you, if you're going to, need a mentor that's going to constantly need to hold you accountable, I'm not that person. And trust me when I say you don't want to be that person either. Number one, that creates an unhealthy codependency. So your clients will project onto you their results or their lack of results because you haven't shown up for them or whatever. They'll blame you in whatever way. But if you set the standards from the beginning, if you say, this is what you can expect from me, I will deliver this, I will show you this, I will teach you this. And if there's anything you need in terms of support, then you come to me and I will move mountains for you. But if you are expecting me to constantly be checking in, to constantly be holding your hand, to constantly be that person that's going to hold you accountable, that's not who I am. And that's not who I will ever be, because that will create an unhealthy codependency. People need to be able to look in the mirror and figure out why they aren't getting results for themselves. But if you're the one that is constantly there because that's the dynamic you created, they'll project all of that onto you and say it's your own fault. So here is what I do in my container to set the standards from the beginning. Number one, I have in my contract, the very, very end of the contract, that if you need help, you need to come to me. I am not a mind reader. And this allows people to take ownership over what they're going through in their own journey and come to me. Like I said, if you come to me because you need something, I will move mountains for you. However, if you expect me to be a mind reader and check in and constantly be asking why you haven't turned up to the call or why you're quiet or whatever, I'm not going to do that. You take responsibility over your own journey. And when you allow people the space to take responsibility for how they experience your container, then they will start taking responsibility for other aspects of their life. And guess what? Therefore, they will take responsibility over the results in their business. And this is how they too get to stand up as a powerful leader. Also, I have a very clear orientation video. The first thing that I have people watch is an orientation video that I made, and it sets my boundaries. I'm very clear around my boundaries when it comes to personally messaging me or, reaching out to me outside of my set business hours or different modes of communication. I'm very clear on how you can communicate with me. Yes, I will be there to support you. Yes, I will move mountains if you need something. But I also have boundaries. You have got to have boundaries. So if you don't have boundaries and you don't allow people to take responsibility for their own journeys and you don't create a space for people to do that, you will start resenting your business very quickly, and you'll also start attracting clients who are going to want an unhealthy codependent relationship, and they're going to put all the onus on you to get them results instead of them taking responsibility to get their own results. The other thing that's super important is you want to be continuously up-leveling your standards. And what do I mean by that? I did a post about this the other day, actually. And if you're not following my Instagram, I give tips around this constantly. So let's follow each other on Instagram and reach out and say hello. You can DM me if you want to say hello, but if you're a client looking for strategic advice or support or whatever, I got boundaries around that. So never lower your standards to meet your clients where they're at. Now, this is so freaking powerful. We interrupt this awesome podcast episode to tell you about my life-changing Quantum Business Academy. If you are ready to take your business to the next levels of abundance and freedom, then you're definitely going to want to hear more. Please don't take my word for it though. Here is one of our alumni sharing their experience.
Wow, where do I even begin with QBA and Sarah Tynan and my time in the container? Let's start with knowing that I have the permission to create my wildest, deepest, biggest vision. I had my highest cash day. I completely changed the direction of my business. I landed in my purpose and my passion. I felt like being a part of it all has given me the permission to truly be me and make the deepest impact possible. Yeah, wow. Sarah Tynan and QBA changed my life. It was so deeply healing to be in a space with like-minded people who are service-based, here to literally serve other souls, and to be held in such a space where you can come as you are and you are seen in your unique gifts, your talents, your desires, and to have your vision come to life around other beautiful people is something that I will be forever grateful for. And being led by Sarah in all of her vulnerability, her humor, her loving, unconditional, nurturing ways. Wow. Honestly, wow. If you want to know more, then please head over to my show notes, book a call with me, or you can message me in DMs. Now let's get back to the podcast. When you continuously up-level your standards and you allow people to meet you there, you are again creating a space for people to break through their own threshold, which is again coding them for growth, coding them for embodied growth. The way I see people lower their standards is by meeting the clients where they're at instead of allowing your clients to meet you where you are at. So it might be by changing a price to make it more affordable, or changing whatever boundaries you might have to allow space for them or whatever. Do not do that. Again, you're going to attract the wrong clients who are going to be constantly testing your boundaries. And number two, you are not allowing a space for people to up their standards. And if people aren't upping their standards, they're not going to be able to crash through their income thresholds. It takes an up level in identity. It takes an up level in standards. It takes an up level in what people are willing to do in order to break through new income thresholds. And if you're not holding space for people to be able to learn that, be that, and embody that, again, what are you doing? Like, you really got to think about all the aspects of what it takes for people to grow and to be powerful leaders themselves. And the only way they can do that is if you mirror it. So again, for me, I will continuously evolve and continuously up-level my standards and be in abundance around knowing that people are gonna fall away. The right people will stay, and the people who are aligned or misaligned to you will fall away. And you gotta be okay with that. That is your sign that you are growing and evolving, and that's what you have to make that mean. And I am always okay with that. The constant evolution of my business, the constant evolution of my clients, it is so delicious. I can tell you one thing, if I stayed stagnant in my standards and stagnant in my boundaries and stagnant in my leadership and stagnant in my evolution, I'd want to quit. I'd want to throw in the towel. There's nothing that would light me up anymore. There's nothing that would inspire me. If I started tailoring what I delivered based on what I thought my clients wanted me to talk about, again, I would lose all passion for everything. I have evolved. My message has evolved. My brand has evolved, and it will continue to evolve. And I have to be okay with clients releasing themselves from me, because in some way, in some shape, and in some form, we have outgrown each other. And I'm not what they need anymore. And I am 100% okay with that, because I'm on a path.
Sometimes that path is unexpected. Sometimes the path doesn't look like what I was expecting it to look like. Sometimes that path takes me on a direction that I know might ruffle some feathers. However, that direction is the direction of my highest alignment, my highest evolution. And I know based on that, people will fall away, and I'm always okay with that. I am always okay with that because I am in abundance. And remember, we are all abundance. And if we had to define what that meant, it means that we are embodied mental billionaires. And when you are an embodied mental billionaire, you want for nothing. And when you want for nothing, you will always take the higher path. You will always do the harder thing. You will always step into a higher standard because you are not afraid of what there might be to lose. So remember that abundance is your best friend. Not only that, you will become a magnet to those people who are ready to take that journey with you. And there's nothing more delicious than watching them evolve in the same way you have. And because you're in abundance, it's a hyper magnetic energy. You will just attract people out of nowhere. I attracted a client the other day, literally came out of nowhere. And that's what gets to happen. That's what gets to happen because I choose my path. I choose my alignment. I choose to always up-level my leadership, hold my standards and my boundaries. And if people want to come with me, they will. And some people won't, and they will fall away. And I am okay with that too. But this is what it means to truly be a powerful, embodied leader. So if you are in the coaching space, if you are in the space of helping people build a business, if you are in the space of mentorship or whatever, I really want you to look at how are you showing up as a leader. This will make or break people's experiences with you. This will determine whether you will stand the test of time when it comes to building your online business, or you succumb to feeling resentful, burnt out, tired, not really wanting to do what it takes to continue because you've fallen into the trap of meeting everybody's expectations of you instead of working out what that is for yourself. When you work that out for yourself, when you know what your standards are, when you know how to continuously evolve, when you know what your message is, and you're willing to powerfully stand in it, even though you know it'll ruffle feathers or put people off or have people think, oh man, you've changed. And you could be like, yeah, I fucking have changed. Because I tell you what, stagnancy will kill you. It truly will. You are only living if you choose to continuously evolve. This is how you rise up. This is how you cause other people to want to rise up. But it takes grit and it's not easy. But here's your permission slip to choose it and stand in it and be it and powerfully lead from a place of sovereignty. So I wanted to have this conversation today because I think it highlights some really powerful awarenesses around true leadership. True leadership and allowing the people around you to truly stand up in their embodied leadership as well and to take the world by storm. So I hope you enjoyed today's episode. It's a really powerful conversation. Thank you for spending time with me. It's an honor to be able to be on this journey with you. And please reach out. Like follow me and reach out and say hello. Like there's nothing that lights my soul on fire more than being close to my community. That means so much. Like I'm constantly hearing back from you guys about how you love the podcast and how I've gotten some print screens about how some of you are like in the 2% of listeners. You've listened to every single episode multiple times, and that means so much to me. It keeps me going. But most importantly, our businesses, our brands are the connection point to bring like-minded souls together. And for me, I do this because I want to be connected to you. So please say hello, reach out. This is your permission to reach out to me in DMs, by the way. It's an amazing journey that we all get to be on together, and I would love to get to know you even more. And if you are looking for support in business, if you're wanting to up level, if you're wanting to anchor into 6 and multiple 6 figures, reach out to me. We can build out a plan. 2024 is going to be a powerful energy, and that powerful energy really anchoring into all the potential in 2024. It starts right now. It starts right now with the plan. It starts right now with reverse engineering what it's going to take, the strategy, the embodiments, the identity up level, all of it. And I am here to help you with it all. Thank you so much for listening and being here, beautiful soul. Until next time, I'll be seeing ya. Thank you so much for listening today, beautiful soul. I hope you got so much gold and were activated in such a way that you could step into your highest timeline of abundance and freedom, because it is more than possible for you. If that desire has been planted in your soul, it is so deliberate. If you wouldn't mind, please rate, review, subscribe to this podcast so that we can get this message into the hearts and ears of more amazing light beings across the world. I would love to continue this conversation with you, so feel free to get in touch on Instagram at sarah.tynan.quantumcoach. If you're a Facebook person, you can find me on Facebook at facebook.com/Sarah Tynan International. And please don't ever forget, if your desire is there, it's because your destiny is there too. You just have to remember who you are. Bye for now, beautiful.